Hello, my friends. Let's talk about Valkyria Revolution again. In the first video, I talked about how this game commented more on the nature of history, how it is recorded and understood, than it is about making a kind of commentary on war. However, I wrote that before having finished the game, and I am glad to report that I was wrong in that statement, and that there is even more to the philosophy of this game than what first met the eye. An important theme that runs the length of the game is whether or not the war for Jutland against the Ruzi Empire was one of liberation or of invasion. For the entire game, the Ruzi Empire has not been the aggressor. Rather, it is Jutland that attacked Ruzi territory under the pretense of ending the Ruzi Empire's oppressive embargo. True, we know that our band of traitors influenced the course of action for their personal revenge, but it also addressed those legitimate economic concerns, as well as the aggressive Ruzi expansion. Changing beat for a moment, I want to talk about the inspiration behind the Valkyria games. Valkyria Chronicles was a story that took place in a low fantasy reimagining of our world during the course of what was essentially World War II. And that was an extremely interesting premise of how a Nazi Germany might have developed had nations access to what was ostensibly magic. Valkyria Revolution takes a significantly greater change by asking the question, what would the Cold War be like if low fantasy magic replaced the existence of nuclear power and nuclear weapons? As a result, the parallel between this game and our own history is significantly reduced. But the juxtaposition between Jutland representing the United States and the Ruzi representing the Soviet Union are clear. There is a parallel United Nations expressing concern over parallel USSR's imperial expansionism in a time when the global politic has learned to reject imperialism, and parallel United States simultaneously engaging in imperialistic expansion to contain parallel USSR's influence while condemning imperialism as well. Hell, when Freet said no country has the freedom of speech that Jutland does, they might as well have screamed America out of a megaphone with how strictly we protect speech in our legal tradition. But I want to talk about what this game has to say about just war theory. The concept of a just war is one of the most interesting aspects of political science. Nowadays, it focuses primarily on the conditions for declaring war and a list of negative ethical precepts of what not to do during the course of war. As a quick explanation, a negative ethical system is one where an actor is required to avoid an action, while a positive ethical system requires you to take some action. For example, a negative ethic is thou shalt not kill, while a positive ethic is thou shalt give to charity. Valkyria Revolution, however, pulls back to a more traditional consideration that is almost always ignored in modern just war theories. That consideration is teleology, or in other words, the means or purpose behind the war. Like we said earlier, the conflict between liberation and invasion as the driving motivation is constant, and it is clear that our characters eventually adopt both sympathy for the idea of liberation while equally accepting that to the public of the Ruzi Empire, despite Emperor Claudius's manipulation, Jutland is also in fact an invader. Even Jutland's public opinion starts to sympathize and understand the Ruzi people's worldview. To counter this, Princess Ophelia gives a speech, which I will play now. Spoiler warning, so you're on notice.
I have killed many Ruzi soldiers with these hands.
Damn, girl. Just throw that bombshell out of nowhere.
My memory of the moment I first took a life is so vivid. It makes me shudder even now. Yet I still wish to stand at the vanguard, as a soldier. Because as I face down the enemy, I know that behind me is Jutland, our home. Today I come before you as a warrior, not a princess. For our troops are fighting on the front lines as I speak. Many have fallen with hopes and dreams left unaccomplished. Perhaps it was your child, your husband, your friend. But each and every one of them took pride in this country, and those still standing keep marching out of love for you. Why are we at war? What is a nation? Liberation or invasion? Everyone is racking their brains to solve these riddles. But a few short months ago, none of us had the privilege to wax philosophical. We were struggling merely to survive. Even I, from my palace terrace. Today, I no longer think only of how to live until tomorrow. My thoughts reach much further now. I look to Jutland as our children and grandchildren see it. Is it not the same for you as well? War never changes, but war has changed us. We think of what comes after the battle and beyond. We finally have a future. You mustn't be misled by someone else's words. Nevertheless, I will resume my soldierly duties in the name of our nation. And with these hands, I will destroy the enemy for good. I'll bloody them for what I believe in. For this kingdom is on the cusp of a golden age, wherein everyone enjoys freedoms of speech, thought, and action. All of you, just as you are now, you are my pride and joy. You have lent me your ears. Now show me your faces. Please look to me, and grant me the strength to keep on fighting.
This speech turns out to make a very interesting implication about the teleology of war. There is a change of focus from the goals one wishes to achieve to what the war causes at its inception. A common misconception about the term teleology is that it refers to a goal, that it refers to something we work toward. But in Aristotle's four causes, material, form, function, and teleology, the term refers to the essence of the thing in question insofar as it is the most pure and fundamental aspect of the thing. Teleology is what defines the class of things such that it can be recognized regardless of the specific factors or accidental properties. So what is the teleology of war? Why can the Fallout series of games continue their catchphrase of "war never changes"? In Valkyria Revolution, war has been presented with a unique essence, because war has been defined as shock, as the impetus of action, in the context of a people who are defined by oppression and lethargy. Not liberation, not invasion, but as the active force of change. Before the start of this game, Jutland was a nation in poverty, only motivated by the thought of whatever comes next to stay alive, no luxury to think of anything else. Starting a war forces the world, forces people to change, to be challenged, and to overcome. You will never be able to dictate exactly what that change will be, because the active change of war is raw and uncontrollable, no matter what power you wield. But war will always demand a change of some kind. And that is the main philosophical message of Valkyria Revolution. Thank you for watching, my friends. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Also share the video around with your friends. I don't pay anyone to advertise the channel, so the only way we can grow is with your help. I hope you'll join us next week, and remember, stay true.